Have you ever looked in a mirror and felt like something was looking back? Not just your own reflection, but something else. Something older and far more sinister. Today, we're stepping into a story that will make you question every mirror you own. This is the tale of the Mirror Room, a place where reflections don't just mimic you, they want to replace you. Our story begins in a dim, dusty antique store, crammed with the ghosts of forgotten objects. A young woman named Emma, in her late 20s, walks in, a small, handwritten note clutched in her hand. She's looking for something specific, something rare. The store owner, a quiet man in his 60s, watches her with an uneasy expression, as if he already knows why she's there. "I was told you had antique mirrors," Emma says, her voice calm and curious, older than the 19th century. The owner hesitates, his gaze flickering towards a dark, curtained-off corner of the shop. He lets out a slow breath. "Some mirrors," he says, his voice low and raspy, "carry more than just reflections. Choose carefully." His warning hangs in the air, but Emma, intrigued rather than deterred, offers a polite smile. She walks over to the corner and pulls the heavy velvet curtain aside, revealing a hidden doorway. She steps through, into the unknown. She finds herself in a narrow, eerie room. The air is cold, stagnant. 5 ancient mirrors line the walls, their frames ornate and tarnished with age. But it's the glass itself that unnerves her. It isn't still. It seems almost alive, rippling slightly like the surface of dark water. Emma is drawn to the largest one, a tall Baroque mirror with black and silver edges that seem to absorb the light. "Beautiful," she whispers, her breath fogging the air. She leans closer, admiring her own image. But then, something impossible happens. As she takes a step back, her reflection lags behind, delayed by a full second. Emma freezes, her heart starting to pound in her chest. She takes another small step back. This time, her reflection doesn't move at all. It just stands there, a perfect copy of her, staring out from the glass with her own eyes. Then, slowly, horrifyingly, the reflection raises its hand and presses its palm against the inside of the mirror. Emma's real hand remains frozen at her side. "What the?" she breathes, her mind struggling to make sense of what she's seeing. That's when the whispering starts. It's faint at first, like the rustling of dry leaves, but it quickly grows a chorus of dozens of overlapping voices, all murmuring from within the mirrors. Panic finally sets in. Emma turns and rushes out of the room, her polite curiosity replaced with raw fear. She bursts back into the main shop, her eyes wide. "Did you hear that?" she asks the store owner, her voice trembling. He doesn't look surprised. He simply gives her a somber, knowing look. "I told you," he says, his tone grave. "The mirrors carry things, and some things don't want to stay inside. You have to close that room," Emma insists, gesturing wildly back at the curtain. "Something is wrong in there." "The room closes at sundown," the owner replies, his voice flat and final. Never before, just as he finishes his sentence, a loud, violent thud shakes the entire store, rattling the shelves and making teacups clatter. They exchange a look of pure terror. Something is happening. Back in the mirror room, the 5 ancient mirrors are rattling violently in their frames. Dark, shadowy silhouettes begin to pound against the glass from the inside, their forms indistinct but their intent clear. They're trying to break out. One of the smaller mirrors suddenly fractures, a web of cracks spreading across its surface like skeletal hands reaching out. But it doesn't shatter. The glass holds. Emma, against her better judgment, feels a strange pullback towards the room. She peeks through the curtain just in time to see the large Baroque mirror. Her own reflection, or the thing wearing her face, starts speaking, but without a sound. Its mouth forms 3 clear, silent words. "Let me out." A strange compulsion washes over her. Despite the terror, she finds herself stepping closer, drawn in by an unseen force. The store owner's voice shouts from behind her, "Emma, don't approach it." But it's too late. She's mesmerized. The cacophony of whispers suddenly merges, focusing into a single, distorted voice that pleads from inside her own head. "Help us," it cries. Ignoring the owner's frantic warnings, Emma reaches out and touches the cold surface of the Baroque mirror with one fingertip. The moment her skin makes contact, the reflection's face twists into a faint, triumphant smile. And then, it grabs her. A cold, impossibly strong hand shoots out from inside the glass, closing around Emma's arm in a death grip. Emma screams, a raw sound of shock and pain. "Pull away," the store owner yells, rushing to her side. "It's not you, it's them." He grabs her around the waist, pulling with all his might. For a terrifying moment, Emma feels herself being dragged into the mirror. Her vision blurs, and for a split second, she sees what's on the other side. A dark, endless void filled with the floating, tormented faces of countless spirits. Their mouths are sewn shut by jagged cracks of light, their eyes wide with silent, eternal agony. Desperate hands reach for her, begging for a release they will never have. With a final, desperate heave, the store owner manages to yank Emma free. She collapses to the floor, gasping for air, the feeling of that cold, phantom grip still burning on her arm. She looks up at the mirror. Her reflection hasn't returned to normal. The spirit Mer remains trapped, or perhaps waiting inside the glass. It presses both of its palms against the barrier, its face a mask of cold desire. "Trade places with me," it says, its voice echoing in the small room, a chilling invitation. Horrified, Emma scrambles backward on the floor, away from the thing that wears her face. "We have to leave," the store owner says, his voice urgent. Now, he helps her to her feet, and they hurry towards the front door of the shop. As they do, the sun begins to set outside, casting long, orange shadows across the floor. A deafening screeching sound erupts from the mirror room, like metal grinding against metal, a symphony of screams from the damned. They reach the exit, but Emma hesitates, her hand on the doorknob. She looks back towards the curtained corner. "What happens to them?" she asks, her voice barely a whisper. "When the sun sets." The owner's face is grim. They become stronger. He pulls her outside, and the heavy wooden door slams shut behind them, locking by itself with a deafening click. From inside the shop, the sounds of roaring and pounding intensify, as if an army of demons is trying to batter down the walls. Shaken, Emma turns to the old man, a dawning horror on her face. "How long have you known?" she asks. "How long has this been happening?" He won't meet her gaze. He looks down at the sidewalk, his shoulders slumped in shame. "Since the first customer," he admits, his voice thick with guilt, "who never came out." The weight of his words hangs in the cold evening air. Emma stares at him, her shock turning to ice. She wasn't the first. How many others had been lured into that room? How many souls were now trapped in that void, their faces forever etched in agony behind the glass? And as they stand there on the lonely street, back inside the silent, darkened shop, the mirror room grows quiet. The Baroque mirror ripples one last time. The spiritima, the doppelganger that almost claimed another victim, stands patiently behind the glass. Her face breaks into a cold, knowing smile. Her eyes, once a copy of Emma's, slowly turn a deep, bottomless black. She leans forward, her lips almost touching the glass, and whispers a single, promising word into the darkness. Soon, some reflections, it turns out, want more than just to be seen. They want a life of their own, and they're willing to take yours to get it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the darkness. Stay safe, and maybe avoid old mirrors for a while.